beside the point. Turn around and go home. I'd been alone these past 11 years in a small house on a dirt road in the deep country, having decided to live apart like that some 2 years before the cancer was diagnosed. I see few people. Since the death a year earlier of my neighbor and friend Larry Hollis, 2-3 days can go by when I speak to no one but the housekeeper who comes to clean each week and her husband, who is my caretaker. I don't go to dinner parties. I don't go to movies. I don't watch television. I don't own a cell phone or a VCR or a DVD player or a computer. I continue to live in the age of the typewriter, and have no idea what the World Wide Web is. I no longer bother to vote. I write for most of the day, and often into the night. I read, mainly the books that I first discovered as a student. The masterpieces of fiction whose power over me is no less, and in some cases greater, than it was in my initial exciting encounters with them. Lately, I've been rereading Joseph Conrad for the first time in 50 years. Most recently, The Shadow Line, which I'd brought with me to New York to look through yet again, having read it all in one go only the other night. I listen to music. I hike in the woods. When it's warm, I swim in my pond, whose temperature, even in summer, never gets much above 70 degrees. I swim there without a suit, out of sight of everyone, so that if in my wake I leave a thin, billowing cloud of urine that visibly discolors the surrounding pond waters, I'm largely unperturbed and feel nothing like the chagrin that would be sure to crush me should my bladder involuntarily begin emptying itself while I was swimming in a public pool. There are plastic underpants with strongly elasticized edges designed for incontinent swimmers that are advertised as watertight. But when, after much equivocation, I went ahead and ordered a pair from a pool supply catalog and tried them out in the pond, I found that, though wearing these biggish white bloomers beneath a bathing suit diminished the problem, it wasn't sufficiently eradicated to subdue my self-consciousness. Rather than take the chance of embarrassing myself and offending others, I gave up on the idea of swimming regularly down at the college pool for the bulk of the year, with bloomers under my suit, and continued to confine myself to sporadically yellowing the waters of my own pond during the Berkshire's few months of warm weather when, rain or shine, I do my laps for half an hour every day. A couple of times a week I go down the mountain into Athena, 8 miles away, to shop for groceries, to get my clothes cleaned, occasionally to eat a meal or buy a pair of socks or pick up a bottle of wine or use the Athena College library. Tanglewood isn't far away, and I drive over to a concert there some 10 times during the summer. I don't give readings or lectures or teach at a college or appear on TV. When my books are published, I keep to myself. I write every day of the week. Otherwise, I'm silent. I am tempted by the thought of not publishing at all. Isn't the work all I need? The work and the working? What does it matter any longer if I'm incontinent and impotent? Larry and Mary Lynn Hollis had moved up from West Hartford to the Berkshires after he'd retired from a lifelong position as an attorney with a Hartford insurance company. Larry was 2 years my junior, a meticulous, finicky man who seemed to believe that life was safe only if everything in it was punctiliously planned, and whom, during the months when he first tried to draw me into his life, I did my best to avoid. I submitted eventually, not only because he was so dogged in his desire to alleviate my solitude, but because I had never known anyone like him. An adult whose sad childhood biography had, by his own estimate, determined every choice he had made since his mother had died of cancer when he was 10, a mere 4 years after his father, who owned a Hartford linoleum store, had been bested no less miserably by the same disease. An only child, Larry was sent to live with relatives on the Naugatuck River, southwest of Hartford, just outside bleak industrial water.